Hello, silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for silver education, acquisition, and entertainment. Okay, Adam, aka Latin Stacker, how's it going, buddy?
Good.
Thanks for coming on the show. I certainly appreciate it. And when I saw your whatnot stream and you started talking about Libertads and the knowledge started flowing, I thought to myself, this is a guy I've got to get on my channel. So thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. How long have you been collecting Libertad coins?
So Libertads, I've been collecting about 5-6 years pretty seriously.
Okay.
Stacking a little bit longer.
Okay. Yeah. Same here. Just probably pre-COVID, I'm guessing. Sounds like 5-6 years.
Yeah. Right around there, right before.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, buddy, we got in at the right time because I remember in like 2018, 2019, I was buying Libertads. They were kind of like neck and neck with American Silver Eagles at the time. Silver was around 17, 18 bucks. And, I was getting Libertads for $21 or $22. You were probably in the same boat.
Yeah. Those were definitely better days for putting some Libertad weight.
Yeah. And so I noticed a slight twang to your accent. You're from Texas, right?
I am from Texas, but actually originally from Southern California.
Oh, okay. Got it. And how did you get into the Libertads?
I was buying bullion.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say I got tired of just the basic bullion. Was getting a little bit boring, and I saw some Libertad coins, and it's like, wow, that's a beautiful coin.
Yeah.
And then it was an addiction from there.
I'll say, because what you said on your stream the other day, it just absolutely blew me away. I felt like I had to work extremely hard to put my Libertad album together, the old Dansko. Number one, it was it was a real chore just finding the album alone, let alone filling it with Libertads. And you said you have 5 full sets from 82 to present.
I'm just short of 5 full sets. I have 3 complete Danskos.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thank you. My goal was to put together a set for each of my children and one for myself, and so I just worked real diligently at that. It was difficult and expensive because I didn't start doing that at the right time.
Yeah.
However, it was a goal, so I focused on that, and then I decided to. Once I was done with that, I wanted to have a PCGS registry set and an NGC registry set. And so I got all the key dates in that, and I've been kind of just taking it easy because I want to get some higher grade ones to finish out those registry sets. So I have a couple spots that I got to fill in, but I do have like all the key dates, the hard stuff.
Man, speaking of key dates, I was so lucky to get this at $350 back in the day at an MS-68 in an NGC. And I have noticed that NGC is tougher on grading than PCGS. So I do kind of wonder, like, what would this grade out at if I sent it into PCGS? But here's the deal. That's slabbed. That one over there is slabbed. It's not going in that album I have over there. So I've got a dilemma. I need to find another key date. And you're a wheeler and dealer, and I saw you working your magic on the whatnot stream, and 98 Libertad. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be very, very honest. I would take a beat up one that looks like it's been run over by a train. Just to fill that hole in that album. What do you think that's going to set me back if I'm lucky enough to find one?
Right now, from what I've been seeing, any condition Libertad, if you could get it under 600, you'd be probably getting a deal.
Oh, wow.
I've seen ones that look like they've been ran over by a train in the $700 range. So
yeah,
like anything, it's sometimes you just get lucky. Find the right person on the right day.
Yeah.
Or walk into the right coin shop where they don't really value Mexican Libertad coins. I was talking to my LCS out here. I was talking about this in the stream actually this last week. I walked in and I asked him, "Hey, do you got any Mexican coins?" He had a couple Libertads kind of thrown through his generic bins. He's like, for the last decade or so, everything that I got in Mexican coins went straight to the refiner.
Wow.
So there are those shops that just don't value them the same way as your collector, or they're so used to the ASE or some of these more numismatic coins being their priorities, and it's just another coin to them, another bullion coin.
Yeah, I've encountered those from here and there. I on my YouTube channel, I literally travel the nation, and whenever I'm on a business trip or even a family trip, I'll go to LCSs. I will talk to coin shop owners. I'll make videos, and my followers seem to enjoy that, especially when I highlight, like, hey, that's my LCS you just found in the middle of Georgia randomly, and they get excited seeing that. But I have noticed some will just, like, they love them, so they'll put high prices on them, and they know they can get that money. And others, not quite in the generic bin, but mixed with Britannias and Krugerrands. I found them before, but less and less of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think obviously the eBays of the world, the whatnots, all that's kind of changed the dynamic a little bit. I have had that conversation a little bit with some coin shops where they started pricing some of their coins, comping it based on eBay. I'm like, look, if you start pricing everything like an eBay, then why not just go to eBay? What makes anybody have to come in here?
Exactly.
And so that's a little bit frustrating, and not because you're trying to get anything for any less than it's valued. But obviously eBay carries its fees, and it's a good place to fill a hole, if you're looking for a specific thing. But nobody wants to walk into a coin shop and pay overpriced bullion prices because it's something sold on eBay for a high price at one point. So
I've encountered the exact same thing where I asked for a specific date or what have you, and they whip out their phone and they say, let's look at eBay. And I feel the same way. To me, coin shops, a big part of going to a coin shop is the thrill of the hunt. And, it's very, very satisfying to see that or find that overlooked coin that other people didn't notice, and, wind up getting it for a pretty good deal. And that's why, I'll spend, an hour and a half and half a tank of gas driving to a coin shop that's remote, or maybe that hasn't been picked over by everybody else. But
yeah, absolutely. And so where I live, I'm out in a rural East Texas. It's basically an hour drive to my any major LCS that's going to have a decent inventory. And exactly that. So you go out there, the thrill of the hunt, finding something that an overlooked coin, a semi-key date where you just like, this is nice to get this and get a fair price. And obviously sometimes things are going to be more expensive, but that exactly what you described of having them pull out the phone and, well, let me pull it up on eBay. I was like, well, I could have done that and had it shipped to my house.
Yeah, exactly. But like I love the rare find. Like, for example, this album I just showed you, the Dansko, I found this in a coin shop in South Bend, Indiana, and the guy had a huge rack of Danskos of everything you can imagine, and way at the bottom, behind a bunch of other stuff, when I uncovered some stuff and saw that there, it was just so much fun. That's you know, like again, the thrill of the hunt. I found it and I couldn't believe it. I would have paid whatever for it, to be honest with you. But you know, he took very good care of me, and that is why I keep going back to that same shop, you know, whenever I'm down in that area. Hey, you mentioned dates though, and I've got, you know, and by the way, the people who are watching this, I'm approaching 25,000 subscribers, and I would say the majority of those folks are Libertad lovers, because that's probably more than anything what I show on my channel. So there'll be some hardcore Libertad folks watching. I have a question about dates. I couldn't find anywhere an O2, and it's not even one of the, you know, like the, you know, lowest mintage. You know, it's not one of those 300,000, 400,000 mintage. It's got an 850K mintage. But it was like finding a needle in a haystack. And until I found your channel on Whatnot, and I asked you, and you said, hold on, let me go check. And you went and dug it up, and boom. Yeah. And turned out you gave me a really fair price for it as well. I appreciate that. But why would something like that has 850,000 mintage be so hard compared to, you know, I've found other ones with much like half that mintage quite easily, and have multiple, you know, and lots of duplicates. But man, every once in a while, one of those dates is just really tough to find.
Yeah, there's a couple dates like that. That I would say 2004, your 90s, you know, whether it's like 1.2 million or something along those lines.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, a lot of people talk about like the low mintages and the, you know, more modern, I'd say like call it like the less 10 years. I think the level of preservation is going to be higher for any of these more modern low mintage coins.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it.
I tell people that all the time, because, you know, for decades, the Libertad was just another bullion coin. It's just a chunk of silver, and it got knocked around and shuffled around and carried in pockets and beat up, you know?
Exactly. And so I think some of these older dates, as you get back into the late 90s, early 2000s, before it really took off as a coin. I mean, there were collectors, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I would say the change during the COVID era that opened a lot of people to collecting. A lot of people were at home. They were, you know, me in particular, I did a ton on IG, Instagram.
Yeah.
And so the whole base of collectors just broadened, and then you saw it again, or seen it again in Whatnot specifically.
Yeah.
And so, you know, all these good dates are getting sucked up. I'm sure there's hordes of people. Like, I mean, you know, you see these rolls I have here, where people have some of these rolls tucked away somewhere.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of them might not even know what they have. It can be, you know, tucked in a safe in Mexico somewhere with, you know, 1,000 ounces of rare key date Libertads.
Yeah.
And they just don't know, because they're not on the internet. They never started stacking because of collecting. They stacked because inherent value. And that's a cultural thing in Mexican communities, generally speaking. So, you know, gold, you know, you'll see the centenarios, the gold coin, the 50 peso around somebody's neck.
Yep.
You know? And then you're over here like, whoa, that's a 21 or a 22. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a numismatic gem. And
yeah, exactly. And they're like, well, it look like I like it. So it's fit in the bezel. Now,
let me ask you the flip side of that. And I'll put you on the spot a little bit. By the way, that's an impressive little line of rolls that you have there. How many of those are 85? Because I see 85. Everybody and their mama is offering up 85 Libertads, so much so that I kind of wonder how accurate those mintage numbers were back in the day. Have you ever had a suspicion like that about the 85s?
Well, they're the most. So 83 and 85 are probably the easiest to come across. Personally, I have probably 30 rolls of 85.
Wow. Man, you are Scrooge McDuck, man.
So I just recently acquired 25 of them though, so there's that. But before then I had 5. I do have 82 in a Blanchard. I particularly like to collect the paper rolls.
Okay.
So I have 82, 83, 84, 85, and 86 in paper rolls. None of the key dates, unfortunately. Those are just too expensive to throw in the safe right now. The premium on them has definitely gone through the roof, and they're really hard to find.
Yeah.
But back to the 85s. I think, again, a lot of people just bought the coin for silver and threw them in a safe. And now that these prices have gone through the roof, as people find out about it and see it, they'll pull it out like, oh, I got rolls of this stuff. I just recently saw a couple. If you know much about how they were originally packaged, they were loose in bank bags, kind of like old Morgans.
Okay.
And then they got rolled up either by the bank. It's the reason why it's such a hard time finding some of these high grade gems, because they all have coin chatter on them, bag mark. And so, anyways, the point being is, I think just a lot of them are starting to make their way back into circulation. You'll find them periodically. I found those, or not found those. Somebody was moving bags of 84s, like actual bags. And that's what 500 ounces, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But when they're pulling in a 500 bag quantity, $40, $50, $45 a coin, people are going to start pulling things out of their safe. So
yeah, absolutely.
Somebody who might have bought those at $5 a coin in the 80s.
Yeah, and maybe their kids or maybe their grandkids are telling them, hey, abuelo, let me take a look at those coins, man, because those are worth a lot of money now.
Oh, absolutely. And so, I see them come across here and there. Obviously, it's a big price tag to buy large quantities like that. Thus, how I got into selling myself a little bit. Got to feed the addiction a little bit. And so it was like, all right, I have this collection. I'm not inherently a seller. I do sell. Probably I'd say I'm a collector first.
Sure.
But I'll sell stuff to be able to, get that 98 that I wanted in a better grade, things like that. So it's a fun addiction. I do like Mexican coins. I don't know how well you can see the coins up here on my background here, but
you've got some gorgeous stuff above and beyond Libertads up there.
Yeah. For instance, this one on the left here, that's a 1915. Let me see it right here. It's a Oaxacan coin, or it's from Oaxaca. So Oaxaca is where my wife is from. My kids are half Oaxacan, I guess, if you will. And so I collect those. So there's some of the older coins. I guess 1915 is not crazy old when it comes to coins, but things like that. I just collect a lot of Mexican coins. It's they're fun to collect, and there's a rich history there that it's always fun to learn about.
You ever travel down there and go to any coin shops or try to source?
No, unfortunately not. My real job, my 9 to 5, if you will, keeps me pretty busy. A little bit hard to travel as much as I'd love to. Kind of like what you're explaining, what you do. I would love to be able to have to do some of that. Travel around, just spend a couple weeks going to some of these major shows and all that. But unfortunately, most of what I do is I have people who do the traveling, and I connect with them and get some of the stuff through them and things like that. Yeah.
Now, hey, I'm hearing some terrible things about the 2025s. We've all heard the rumor that they were only going to release quote unquote 300, and then I heard that got bumped up to 500, and I'm thinking it's got to be 300,000 or 500,000, not literally 300 or 500 coins. Have you heard the same things? And what are you hearing? You seem really well connected.
Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing. I have a hard time believing that's going to be the end result. It doesn't make a lot of sense to only produce 300 to 500 BU coins when you're also producing 300 to 500 reverse proofs, for instance, or proofs. Right. That will be interesting. As a collector, not just somebody who will sell the coins, but as a collector, I think it would be a very bad idea where you'll have a lot of people who will just say, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm going to sell off my collection because I'm never going to be able to fill it with a BU coin 2025 that's going to cost me $5,000 or something along those lines, maybe even more.
At that point, they might as well just make albums, 1982 to 2024, and that's it. 2024 is the last one because, like you said, nobody's going to get the 25. So, but in just kind of a side note, I have made my own channel round for my channel, and I can tell you, it's a big deal to make dies. And once you have them made, how could you only make 300? That just doesn't even make sense. And I maybe it's somebody down in Mexico having a little fun with all of us collectors up here,
Yeah, I think ultimately what's going to happen is there might be a low early release number, but anybody who follows how the Mexican Mint releases their numbers, it's over time. They press the coins, they run their test strikes. Early on, you almost always see these low numbers that get put into Circ. And then down the road, you start seeing the true numbers. So I think ultimately we'll see some sharks with some coins that everybody wants.
Yeah.
And then down the road, maybe sometime into next year, there'll be a drop. And maybe that's just wishful thinking because I got 3 books to put the coins into and two registry sets. So I would not be looking forward to buying 5 coins out of 500. So.
Yeah, that is one heck of a collection you have, though. And so with my Dansko album that I showed you over there, once that's filled, my next plan was to do kind of a mixed set of slabs because I have a bunch in PCGS and a bunch in NGC. And maybe not so much one of each, but man, oh man, it's is there anything else that you think my followers should know about Mexican coinage or Libertads specifically?
I mean, one of the big things I always tell people who, if you've popped in my show a couple times over the past few months is I love to talk about coins.
Yeah.
Mexican coins, especially over the last couple of years, when you can get them because there's not a coin like it that holds its value like it. So you really can't go wrong. It's buy them, collect them, put them away, put sets away for your kids. Or hold them for 20 years, but you're gonna get something back out of them. It's not the same thing as buying a generic Buffalo round.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll hear people like, "Well, a round of silver is a round of silver." Well, I got a lot of Buffalo rounds I could sell somebody, and I can tell you what, they're not. I cannot sell them for the price that I would these Mexican Libertads. So collect them. Stack them.
I agree 100%. And I kind of followed a YouTuber called Silver Britches. That was his name back in the day. He changed it, and I think he changed back to Silver Britches. But his saying was, stack what you like. And at the time, there was a time when like American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maples, Britannias, and Libertads were all part of the same conversation, and they're like, okay, they're all just a little bit over spot price, and maybe with the ASCs, being $2 over spot, and the Libertads maybe $2.50 or $3 over spot, and they're all relatively the same. And I stacked what I liked, and other people stacked maples, and other people stacked Britannias because it's a beautiful coin. But I agree with 100% that the value it's just grown and grown and grown, and can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. And there's a lot of people that love them.
Yeah, it's one of the things strategy wise, right, part of it's an investment, right? Even if you're a collector, you're collecting with the idea that that collection is going to be worth something.
Yeah.
And early on, I said I stacked a lot longer. All I used, the cheapest silver I can buy for the cheapest price, which is it's a strategy for sure.
Pure stacking.
Yeah, pure stacking. But what I found is at some point is, watching other people sell over the years is all you're going to ever get. Is if you buy it at spot, you're probably going to, unless it's got an intrinsic value, collector value, excuse me, you're only going to sell it close to spot.
Right.
And so I kind of started shifting at one point into, outside of just Libertads, is part of my stacking strategy was to buy things I know other people like also.
Right.
So that when it did come time where I wanted to, offload some or, pay for that, vacation, if you will, or whatever people's, reasoning is there's always a market for something I have.
Right.
And it's not only a contingent on what spot price is that day, like with your generic Buffalo rounds,
right,
things like that. So I'm huge into, I don't have anything out in that regard, but vintage bars.
You too?
Oh yeah, I love vintage bars.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to do a whole nother video on vintage bars.
Yeah, I got a pretty. It rivals my Libertad collection.
Really? I was gonna ask about that if there's anything else in the collection, and no kidding.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of like the obvious Engelhard bars and some of these ones that people have. But I mean, I got one that's on the on all Engelhard, a 1-of-1 air bar. I got a bunch of Drews, just some of the oddball refineries. I love being able to touch it. I think that's one of my favorite things is you can handle some vintage bars and
100%. Man, oh man. We have very similar tastes. This is really funny. I'll tell you what. Let's do another video. I could tell my viewers are going to appreciate you sharing your knowledge, and we definitely need to get back together and do another video sometime soon. Before we part ways, because I've kept you, gosh, about a half hour already, I do have to throw it out there to anybody watching. You can find Adam, aka Latin Stacker, on Whatnot. I'll throw a link down in the video description, and I'm on Whatnot too, obviously. It's a great format, and I can corroborate what Adam said. When he goes on, he does a lot of educating and a lot of talking, and gosh, I learned a lot just listening to you for an hour and a half, or however long your last show was. And so I don't think people would be disappointed. And also, if they need dates, you really helped me out with that 2002. I had it slabbed, but I needed it for the album, and you were able to help me with that. So thank you for that, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, cool. Until next time, we'll see you on the next show.